Hello, everyone out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. Of course, I'm Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about Devil Wears Prada. Devil Wears Prada. Okay, this chick flick of ill repute, so to speak. I'm going to need some coffee for this one. Oh my God. The stuff you women have to go through. Oh, I'm such a male feminist now after watching this movie. You know, I just relate to you in a way I never did before. I'm more in touch with my feminine side now. Get the hell out of here with that noise. Okay, that's a load of, bunk. And you know that's true. Okay, this movie falls into the trap that all the chick flicks fall into. Okay, it's completely unrealistic. The men do not act like men in these movies. Okay, it's all about the superficial. It's all about the clothes and the diet and the parties, and the promotions and climbing the corporate ladder and becoming a boss bitch. Okay, that's what this is all about. Okay, it idolizes these things. Okay, which I guess that is capitalism for you. If you want to join that rat race, go right ahead. But it is a rat race. Okay, and even if you win, which you won't, but let's just say that you do, you're still a rat. Okay, just like my friend American Zombie says on his podcast, which, by the way, I was on his YouTube channel the other day, and we had a very long conversation. Okay, American Zombie, thank you very much for having me as your guest. We went on a very long conversation about culture, gender roles, and just things like that. Basically how men and women are portrayed in movies and TV shows, and the hypocrisy behind that, that kind of thing. So I highly recommend you watch it. Okay, it was American Zombie. I was on there. We did like a 3-hour discussion. Okay, so it was pretty insightful. Okay, now I'm Diego Knows. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view. That's what I do here. Okay. Most straight guys have not watched these movies unless they were, they watched them with their girlfriends or something. And I'm pretty sure you guys that have watched these movies with your girlfriends, I'm sure you pretended to like a lot of them. Okay, and every once in a while there's a diamond in the rough. Okay, I reviewed a lot of chick flicks on this channel. The Notebook, Romeo and Juliet, League of Their Own, Legally Blonde, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Pretty Woman, My Best Friend's Wedding. Oh my God, Mean Girls. It Ends with Us. Okay, Officer and a Gentleman. Okay, I mean, I've gone through a lot of your movies. Oh my God, I don't even remember all of them. Okay, but there's a lot on here. And I also reviewed every single episode of Sex and the City. Yes, I did. Every single one I have reviewed. Okay? And also the 2 movies that came after the show was canceled. And I also reviewed that abortion of a sequel series that came out a couple of years ago. And Just Like Crap, that is the name of the show. And guess what I'm doing once I'm done reviewing this movie? Guess where I'm going next? That's right, season 3 of And Just Like Crap just got announced. There's already a trailer for it, and it's going to come out at the end of this month. So guess where I'm going as soon as I'm done with this movie? That's right, back to where I started from. Okay, the Sex and the City nonsense. Okay, that's what got me onto this, actually, because I watched Sex and the City, and I enjoyed that show. I didn't enjoy the crap that came after, but I enjoyed that show for the most part. And I'm a straight guy, okay? I can see bullshit, okay? I can see the way they manipulate things to get women to feel a certain way. I can see the strings, and I'm going to call it out. All right? This shit's so freaking fake. I swear to God, Star Wars is more realistic than freaking Sex and the City, okay? They just do not know how to write men, straight men. They don't know how to do that, okay? Well, that's what happens, okay? When it's all a bunch of, over the hill, middle-aged, ugly women and fucking gay guys that are writing these shows and these movies. What else are you going to get? You're going to get an approximation of what they think a straight guy is, okay? It's going to have nothing to do with his personality or what he is. It's going to have everything to do with what his job is and what he looks like, okay? It's a load of bullshit. That's not realistic at all. This feminist crap that we keep getting pumped with is basically telling women that you need to be more like a man. See, men all suck, so we need to be just like them. We need to base our partners on what they look like. Okay? Okay, when that's crap, okay? We don't base our partners on how much money she has. or whether she's a professional or not. We don't do that. Women do that. So what did they do? Okay, it's always the same crap. You always got to make the woman into the fucking man. What do you like about men? Ladies, what do you like about men? Well, see, he needs to be educated. He needs to be successful. He needs to have authority. He needs to, be able to fly me to Europe at least 3 times a week. Or a year. Sorry, 3 times a year. A week would be better, wouldn't it? Okay? He needs to constantly buy me things, buy me dresses, buy me jewelry, buy me flowers, pay for the date, of course. I should never have to touch a door handle whenever I'm around him. That kind of shit. All right? He needs to be tall. He needs to have, what is it? What is it? 6, 7, 8? Yeah, 6, 7, 8. 6 feet tall. 7 inches, or 7 figures and 8 inches. You got all these standards for what a guy has to be, right? Okay. But what about a guy? What are his standards? His standards are simple. You need to look good. Okay. And don't be a fucking whore. And treat me good. That's it. That's it. That's it. Respect your appearance. Don't be a fucking whore. Don't cheat on me. Okay? Don't fuck like 600 guys and then decide you're going to settle on my ass. Don't be that kind of a girl. And 3, just be nice to me. It's not fucking difficult. It's not difficult. You stick to those 3 things and you're pretty much going to get a high value guy. You're going to get fucking any guy. But you want a high value guy, right? Well, what does a high value guy want? He wants those 3 things. He wants a woman who looks good, is not a fucking whore, and treats him nice, treats him like a fucking king. You know how hard that is? You bitches complain about, and I'm not saying all women, I'm saying just the bitches that are watching this, okay? You bitches complain how there's no good men left. They're all taken or whatever. Get the fuck out. There's no good women left. Why don't you fucking look in the mirror for a change and wonder why the dating crisis is so fucking bad? Okay? If anything, men haven't gotten worse. They're just not dating anymore. Men used to approach women. They would see a hot girl at the mall and they would start talking to her. Or they see her at the bar, okay? And they would start talking. They'd buy her a drink. They'd start talking to her. It doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. Because of all this fucking Me Too shit, every guy's afraid he's going to get charged with sexual harassment if he even looks at a girl for too long. You see what I mean? Guys aren't dating anymore. They've watched. We're in that generation now. Okay, where young boys have grown up watching their moms cheat on their dads. And how that fucked up the marriage, how that fucked up the family. And what it's done to their dad and what it's done to their mom. Because guess what? Those ladies don't get the happy ending either. They've grown up watching this. They've grown up with friends that got married and then got divorced, and now they're paying fucking alimony and child support for kids that aren't even theirs. And that alimony's just going to her, and she's just going to buy her fucking boyfriend a fucking leather jacket with it. Okay? This is a generation that's seen this happen. Now, why the fuck would a guy want to get married when that's in his future? You see what I mean? These guys have watched the family. They've watched their uncles, their brothers or something go through the family court system, okay, where the wife gets rewarded for breaking apart the marriage. She cheats on her husband, okay, and takes the kids. Guess what? She gets to keep the house. She gets the fucking alimony. She gets the fucking child support. He don't get a goddamn fucking thing, and she's the one that fucked up. You see what I mean? She gets rewarded, and she gets half of all of his fucking assets. You see what I mean? So why would a guy go through all this school and work hard at his job to get promoted and make money and support his family just so that the woman can fucking take it all away from him at any fucking moment she wants, for whatever fucking reason she wants? Why would a guy willingly sign up for that? Okay, the guys today are smarter. They're smarter than their dads were. Okay, their dads believed in that fucking love will conquer all shit. Okay, the guys today don't believe in that shit, ladies. They do not. They fucking don't. Okay? Because every time they watch a TV show, every time they watch a movie, what do they see? They see a woman who's smarter and stronger and more confident than the guy that she's standing next to. Okay? And that's just not real life. That's just, it's not realistic. You cannot tell me that every single guy out there is a wimp fucking pussy boy. The way they're depicted on TV shows and movies. You cannot tell me that. Okay? They're not. Go out in the real world. You're going to find out that's not true. Even me, myself. Okay? I don't get fucking pushed around by women. Or men, for that matter. Now, I don't push them around either. You know why I don't? Because I have fucking self-respect. Which is something a lot of men are lacking today. Okay? And ultimately, you've got to be good to yourself. You've got to respect yourself. Okay, the guys are just going for the leftover women. The ones that all the chads already went through them, blew out their backs already. So they're settling for what they can get. That's because they have no self-confidence. That's because they weren't raised by men. Okay, because they grew up watching their mom fucking her friend Tyrone and getting her back blown out. Where's dad? Exactly. You think Tyrone gives a shit about the girl's kids that he's blowing out her back? You think he's thinking about the kids? No, he's not. Well, he better not be. He better not be. But you know what I mean. Of course not. Those aren't his fucking kids. He don't give a shit. They're not his problem. Not his responsibility. You see what I mean? Okay. So what do you expect? What do you expect? Okay. And my little corner here of YouTube is to point out, what do the chick flicks have to do with this? What do the chick flicks have to do with this? Exactly. Okay. They got a lot to do with it. They got a lot to do with it. Okay. Because the only real goal of feminism is to get women out of the home. Don't raise kids. Hell, better yet, don't even have kids. And if you get pregnant, kill the baby. Now, before you start judging me, I'm actually pro-choice, okay? So you can keep your fucking comments to yourself. I'm actually pro-choice, okay? That's why I am not a diehard Republican at all, okay? I am pro-choice, all right? But at the same time, if women are going to school so they can get that corporate job, so they can work their way up the ladder and get that high office position in the C-suite, and men are also doing that, who's going to fucking take care of the kid? Good question, isn't it? Who's going to take care of the kid? Nobody. They're not going to be any kids. Or if there is, they're going to hire somebody to do it. Now, how is it when your 4-year-old loves the fucking babysitter a hell of a lot more than he loves his own fucking parents? It's pretty sad, isn't it? But that's feminism for you. And this movie's definitely feminism. Because women deserve equal rights, despite the fact that everyone involved in making this movie is fucking rich and was born rich. No, still feminism. Because in case you haven't noticed, ladies, feminism doesn't give a shit about poor women at all. It's just self-entitled, insufferable women who want more. And they don't care what women they step on to get there. So feminism is a fucking lie. Anyway, moving right along. Now that I got that out of the way, yes, it does apply to this movie. Okay, now where we left off last time is we were talking about Miranda, how Miranda sent Andy an impossible task, gave her an impossible task to get the unpublished manuscript of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. Okay? Who you women, by the way, used to love her until she said that that men are not women and women are not men. And now y'all hate her. Now, personally, look, man, I don't care about J.K. Rowling. My sisters love those books, and I've watched all of them. I've not read the books. I could not get through the first one. What was it? Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I think that was the first one. I got a few pages into that, and I put that shit down and never opened it again. It's boring, but I understand that she has a fan following and that a lot of kids, especially girls, love those books. My sister was one of them. She's a die-hard Harry Potter fan. I took her to the movies, okay, to go see them. We watched them at home. I even showed her a documentary about J.K. Rowling because she loves that stuff. She loved the fucking Harry Potter movies. I couldn't give two shits, but I did sit through all of them. But so I get it, okay? But J.K. Rowling, of course, she's a fucking liberal, just like all authors are, just like the entire publishing industry is. And she's female, just like, 95% of all the authors in publishing, especially in New York, are female, okay? All the editors are female. All the agents are female, okay? It's true. Okay, so she falls right in there, okay? Just like this magazine's run by a female. Okay, get it? Okay, and it's not just the girl magazines that are run by females either, okay? It's the men's magazines that are run by females too. You look at Sports Illustrated, which is a dead brand now. Okay, it's only got a little bit of heat right now because Salma Hayek, a 58-year-old woman, decided to do the cover. Well, I'll take that over the fucking trans women that they kept putting on the covers of Sports Illustrated. No wonder that magazine is going bankrupt. It's actually, I think it went bankrupt. Someone else bought it. It's not owned by Sports Illustrated anymore. It's owned by another company. But anyway, yeah. So all that crap is kind of going away now. Okay, but it's all run by women. It's all run by DEI hires, didn't earn it hires, and because feminism. Okay, and this movie's no different. This movie's it's all about that. But this movie was before all that shit started happening. This movie came out in 2006. All right. So Miranda Priestley, being the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, she did earn it, and the movie points out that she is actually worthy of having that title. She is a bitch, but she earned her spot there. Okay. So anyway. So where we left off last time, Miranda sent Andy on all these impossible tasks to get a copy of that manuscript, that J.K. Rowling manuscript. She succeeds in doing it, and she impresses Miranda. Okay, so Andy's feeling pretty good about herself. Okay, she's like, oh, I'm getting better at my job. I'm dressing nicer now. I know what Miranda expects. I understand the work culture now. I get it. Blah blah blah. Right? She's getting more authority now, more responsibilities. Things are working for her now. All right. But she is chained to that desk. She is chained to that job. Even on she has basically no free time. All of her free time is spent doing stuff that's office related. Anyway, so she's excited with herself. Now, she did tell her boyfriend, she called her boyfriend to tell her that she's quitting because before she gets fired, because there's no way she's going to get the manuscript. But she ended up getting it because of some other guy that she has the hots for that her boyfriend does not know about, that got her a copy of the script, of the manuscript, and that's what saved her job. So now she's at home, she's excited, all right? Her boyfriend comes home and buys some expensive fruit to celebrate with her. Yes, expensive fruit to celebrate with her because he's poor. They live in a shitty little apartment, okay? And at home, Andy, she's doing the science project, okay? Miranda has 2 twin daughters that are a couple of bitches, okay? They like to make fun of the new girl and stuff and play jokes on her, okay? So also, one of the duties that Andy has is to do the science project for the twins. So she's at home working on her boss's daughter's science project because that's one of her responsibilities, right? And while she's there, her boyfriend comes home. He brought some expensive fruit. Okay, he's happy that his girlfriend Andy decided to quit. Okay, he's not happy, but she tells him that she changed her mind. Is there something I gotta tell you? There is this really hot guy that I'm starting to like now who's going to open up a lot of careers, a lot of opportunities for me in this industry. So I think that maybe if I have sex with him, and stuff, not only will it be a better guy than you, who's got more money, he's more successful, but he's also in the industry that I'm actually interested in. Okay. And it's going to help my career. Okay. So she tells, oh, wait a minute. No, she doesn't tell him that. She tells him, that, she changed her mind about quitting her job. He's not happy about it, but because he doesn't like the way what the kind of person she's turning into. Now she's wearing these expensive clothes and acting like she's better than people. And earlier in the movie, she called him and her own friends a couple of assholes. She called them assholes, So he kind of doesn't like it, but he's like, all right, fine. I don't like it, but I'll support you because he's a fucking simp. Of course he is. All right. She swears to him that she's still the same girl. Okay, she hasn't changed. Okay, he's really like, oh, whatever. I don't like your clothes and stuff. So she's like, well, would you like this? Well, maybe you like this. So she takes off her clothes and shows her laundry. Well, maybe you'll like this. And he's like, okay. Honestly, ladies, there's something you need to understand. There are women that can pull that off. Okay, but men, for the most part, we don't give 2 shits about your lingerie. You know who cares about lingerie? Women and gay guys. We don't care about your lingerie. We care about what's underneath the lingerie. Okay? We don't care how good the lingerie looks. We care about how good does the person underneath that lingerie look. That's what we care about. Okay? So you're not going to seduce us by showing us your lingerie. Okay? Just don't fucking wear anything. You want to seduce us that way. If you look good, you're going to seduce us that way. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, we don't need all this fucking pomp and circumstance. We don't need this whole pageantry and shit. Okay, you need that. You need that. We don't. Okay, once again, making the women into the men. The things that men find attractive, okay, they're making it what the woman finds attractive. Okay, and it's bullshit. Okay, you're turning the women into what women want in a man. Okay, successful, respected at their job, well dressed, pays for everything. Okay, that's what you're turning Andy into. Okay, but men aren't attracted to that. But you wouldn't know that because there's no fucking straight guys involved in this fucking movie. Had nothing to do with writing this movie, okay? Nothing to do with producing this movie, okay? You see what I mean? All right. That's how these movies lie to you. Okay, so that's going on here. What do you call it? They end up having sex, okay? And then we get a cover version of Seal's hit Crazy, because we're never going to survive unless we are a little crazy. That's back when Seal was married to Heidi Klum. Yeah, and then she cheated on him with like her bodyguard. Yeah, well, what do you expect? It's Heidi Klum. Anyway, so she's from this industry. You know. So anyway, so we hear a terrible version of that song. Okay, we see a photo shoot at Central Park. Nigel is there. Nigel's the gay guy, bald gay guy, played by Stanley Tucci. He plays bald gay guys in pretty much everything he's in. And he's there, and he's friends with Andy. They're actually friends now. Okay, and he's been giving her advice on how to be better at work, how to know what to wear, that kind of stuff, all right? How the culture works there. Okay, so there's Central Park, and Andy's talking to Nigel, okay? And she tells him that her personal life is hanging by a thread. Okay, this job has been causing her to sacrifice her personal life in a lot of ways. Okay, and then Nigel tells her, he said, join the club, because he's gay, remember? He's like, join the club. Okay, that's what happens when you start doing well at work. Now, let me know when your life completely goes up in smoke. Because that'll let me know that's when you're due for a promotion. And then he walks away from her. And Andy's just like... Now, I thought it was pretty stupid to put this scene in the movie. Not because of the scene itself, because later on in the movie. I'm not going to spoil it for you here, but later on in the movie, we're going to find out how Andy's relationship with her boyfriend, Nate, how that turns out, how that plays out. Later on, we'll find out how that gets resolved. Okay? Later on, we'll find out. But if you're going to put this scene in there, what it does, it enhances the fact that Andy has a boyfriend that she loves and that loves her. Okay, that should be very important here. Okay? It should be very, I mean, they live together for Christ's sake, right? So it adds more weight to their relationship. Okay? In other words, it's hinting that maybe this job might cost you to lose your relationship. And if you really love the guy, you won't let that happen. See, that's what's being implied here. Okay, that's what always happens in a guy movie. Okay, in a guy movie, the guy always has the love interest, right? And at some point, he has to decide, okay, how much he loves the woman and what he's willing to give up for the woman that he loves. Usually the man has to give up something in order to be with the woman he loves. You see what I mean? Even in Die Hard, okay? In Die Hard, okay, John McClane was going through all that shit to save his wife. He could have escaped. He could have found a way out of that building. But he couldn't because his wife was one of the hostages. And despite the fact that they were separated, despite the fact that they had an argument earlier, okay, and that they're on the brink of divorce, he didn't want to lose her. He didn't want her to die here. He wanted to fix their marriage. He wanted to be her husband again. He wanted his kids back in his life. Okay? He was trying to reconnect with her. There's no way in hell he's going to let the woman he loves be a victim to a bunch of fucking terrorists. You see what I mean? At the heart of it, it's a guy trying to get his wife back because he loves her. You see what I mean? That's why he stayed in the building. That's why he fought the terrorists. Because he loved his wife. It don't get more simple than that. And the men went along with it. Because most of us men, we know what it's like to love a woman. And what we're willing to do for a woman. You see what I mean? Men risk our lives for women. When was the last time a woman fucking risked her life for a man? Never. Never. When was the last time a woman gave up something for a man? Now, I'm not saying these things don't happen in real life. I'm pretty sure they do. But when have you seen that in a fucking movie or a TV show? Huh? Or even heard it in a fucking song lyric? Never. Never. You see what I'm talking about? And this scene is supposed to highlight that Andy values her relationship with her boyfriend. What is she willing to give up to preserve that relationship? Nothing. Nothing. You see what I mean? What is she willing to put herself through? What trials and tribulations is she willing to go through for the man that she loves? The answer, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because self-sacrifice is only expected from the man's side, not from the woman's side. Not in real life, but in these movies, absolutely. You see what I mean? The idea that a woman would risk her life to save the man that she loves, to Hollywood, to people that make movies like this, who write books like this, that whole idea is sexist. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. It's not sexist when men do it. It's sexist when a woman does it. How dare she put her own ass on the line for the man that she loves? You see what I mean? It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. Movies definitely don't depict it. That's what I'm talking about. All right. But like I said, we'll get to that when the relationship resolves itself later on. Okay, so Miranda decides to have Andy accompany her. What do you call it? Okay, so, sorry, Nigel. Nigel tells her all that, which is kind of cool. He tells her, okay, well, when your personal life completely explodes, that's when you know you're doing a good job. That's when you're ready for a promotion. Okay. In other words, okay, the people that make it in the company are the ones that give up the most. Okay. So the fact that her personal relationships are suffering now, that's a good sign. That's a sign she's on the right track. Okay. Now there's an office meeting later on. Okay, at an office meeting, Miranda is barking out orders. So it's basically they're at the round table there. Okay, it's a boardroom meeting. Basically, Miranda's leading the meeting, and all her flunkies, her subordinates, her heads of departments for the magazine are all there, and she's barking out orders, asking questions and stuff like that. And they're taking notes and telling her, answering her questions or whatever. Of course, she criticizes all of them. Okay, they're not doing their job to her satisfaction. Of course not. Okay, however, Nigel actually does distinguish himself at this meeting. He is prepared. He is very good at what he does. Okay, he knows how to talk to Miranda. He knows about her mood swings and what her eye gestures and her facial expressions. He knows what it means. He knows the subtext behind those. So he knows how to read her. He knows how to talk to her. He knows how to tell her what she needs to hear. He knows his job as well. Okay, and she actually points him out. Oh, well, somebody's prepared. In other words, somebody came to work today. So she was impressed by one of her staff, Nigel. Nigel's good at what he does because he loves being in this industry. Okay, he's very good. Okay, now Emily arrives. Okay, now she's clearly sick. Okay, her nose is all red. She's coughing like a motherfucker. She's got a handkerchief over her mouth like that. She comes in there and hands Miranda a note, and then she walks out of the meeting. Okay, of course, Miranda's disgusted. Oh my God, it's probably got her germs all over this. Like that, like the way Miranda is. Okay. So anyway, so Emily walks in there all sick and stuff. Miranda's disgusted by this. Emily goes to Andy and tells her that she's worried about going to a benefit with Miranda while she's this sick. Apparently there's going to be a benefit at the museum tonight. Okay. And it's a very big deal. They do it once a year. Okay. Since Emily is the first assistant, it is her job to go with Miranda to this benefit. It's her job to memorize all these. She's got a picture book, all right, of all these different people. She has to memorize their faces, memorize their names, and memorize how they relate to Miranda. Who are they? Because Miranda can't be bothered to learn this shit on her own. It's her assistant's job. Okay. Luckily, Emily has been studying these books, okay, for weeks. Okay, so she's kind of got it down for the most part, but she's very, very sick. Okay, but she can't afford to take a sick day because she has to go to this benefit. Okay, it's her responsibility as a first assistant. She has to be there. She can't call in sick. Not today. All right. Now, so that's going on. Okay, and she wishes she wasn't this sick. All right. Okay, so she does, however, let Andy leave early. Now Andy's excited because Andy, her birthday. I'm sorry, not her birthday. Her boyfriend's birthday, Nate. It's his birthday tonight, and they're having a party. Her black friend and her gay friend, and Nate has no friends. Okay, they're all gonna have a birthday party for him tonight. Andy's excited about it. She got him a gift or something, whatever, and she's happy about that, right? So she's excited to go to her boyfriend's birthday party. Okay. And Emily actually lets Andy leave early. Like, you can go now, which she never does. So Andy's excited, okay? And then Emily, and while Andy's like telling her, oh my God, thank you so much, my boyfriend's birthday, and I got him this thing today, and we're gonna celebrate. And Emily's basically tells her, shut the fuck up. Like, she's like holding her eyes. She got, look, okay? I'm hearing this, but what I want is this. Okay, bitch. So Andy leaves and Emily is just there all sick, and she's just like, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job. Okay, she keeps telling herself that over and over again. Okay, so now Andy's about to walk out of the building when all of a sudden Emily shows up to stop her and tells her to turn around and come back. All right, so Miranda pulls Andy back in. Okay, and Miranda decides that she wants Andy to accompany both of them, Emily and her, to the benefit tonight. Now, obviously, this throws a horseshoe into Andy's plans. Andy was really excited about going to her boyfriend's birthday party, and now she can't. Now she has to go to this benefit, get all dolled up, and go to this benefit with Miranda and Emily. And why? Because Miranda tells Andy that Emily is an incubus of viral plague. That's why. And if you just look at Emily's face, she's just like you really hurt her feelings there, Miranda. Like, obviously Emily is sick and she came into work anyway because that's the kind of devotion that she has for her job. And it's also the kind of devotion that you expect from your employees. You come into work even if you're sick. Okay, you didn't have to fucking berate her like that in front of her subordinate. You never do that. That's not leadership. That's not good leadership. I learned that in the Marines. Okay? You don't berate somebody while their subordinate is watching, okay? And that's what Miranda did, because Miranda doesn't give a shit, okay? She needs an assistant there at her function, and she can't depend on Emily to do it because Emily's too sick. That's not her problem. Her problem is having a reliable assistant there at the function with her, okay? So Andy is gonna have to go. So what does she do? She calls her friend, her black friend Lily, and tells her, hey, listen, I got to go to this thing tonight. Don't call off the party. I'll be there. I'm just going to be running late. That's all. But start without me, okay? But I will be there. That's what she tells her. Lily, her friend, is not happy about this at all. She's like, really? This is your boyfriend's party. We've been planning this thing. She's like, I know, but I have to go to this thing, and I can't get out of it, and blah, blah, blah. All right? That kind of conversation, all right? Now, in case you haven't noticed, Andy has been ostracizing her friends and her boyfriend throughout this whole movie. Okay, so that's going on. So now Andy's responsibility now is to memorize all those names and faces, okay, that I told you about earlier, that Emily's been working on. Now Andy has to memorize them too, and she's only got a couple of hours to do it. That's the difference, all right? Okay, so she hands her the notebooks and says she got to memorize both of these, all right? Okay, so that's going on here, okay? Luckily, Nigel, okay, actually picks out a nice dress for Andy to wear at this function, okay? So all that's going on, all right? And I'm going to stop my review right there, okay? But I'll be back shortly to continue my review, no matter how many damn videos it takes. The Devil Wears Prada, okay? I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.